Hello everyone, today I'm going to go over the first practice of Stata, which is posted under week 2. So this practice will just give you an introduction on how to create a do file for a very simple command. So when you click on the first link, this link will give you the dataset, and you have two types of datasets. You can choose whatever one you like, whether you can choose the DTA, which is the Stata format, or you can use an Excel format. You have also a description of the dataset. So when you click on this file will give you a description, which is very important to read before you start estimating your model. This will give you a brief summary of the sample that you are using. So this one is taken for high school and beyond. It's a survey, and it's very important to know whether it's a cross-section dataset or a time series dataset. This one was done in 1980 and it was updated in 1986. So it's just one time period. So that means it's a cross-section over a sample of 1,100 high schools. If you want more information about this dataset, you can find it in this paper, and it's in the Journal of Business and Economic Statistics for 1995. But for just going over this practice, we don't need more than the information listed on this Word document. So the description of the dataset is very important. The description of the dataset will tell you the name of the variables listed or the abbreviations of the variables that you have on Stata, and the description of these variables. So in Stata, when you import the dataset, you will find a variable called ED, and you have no idea what is ED until you read the description of ED. And ED is simply the years of education completed, and you can also have more information here. This is by assigning 12 years to all members of the senior class, additional year for secondary education, counted as 1 year, and so on. So you can read the whole description of the variable education. You can read the description of female. It's a binary variable. It's not a continuous variable. It's a binary variable, means that it takes only two values, 1 if this person is a female and 0 for male. You have it again another dummy variable, which is called black, that takes 1 if the person is black and 0 otherwise. You have Hispanic, and Hispanic takes 1 if the person is Hispanic and then 0 if this person is not Hispanic. By test is the Bayesian composite test score. And then you have dad college, takes 1 if the dad is college graduate, and then the same thing, mom college, takes 1 if mom is a college graduate. And then income high, whether the family income is greater than 25,000 per year. Okay, and then if the person owns a home, then it takes 1 if this person's family owns a home, and 0 if they do not, and so on. So you can keep reading the description of this data set. And in this very simple practice, we're not going to use all of these variables. We're just going to pick a few of them so that we are just trying to master how to create a very simple do file, and then later on we will expand the do file to include other commands and other variables. So after you're done with reading the description of the dataset, you should be able to start the practice. And then once you start the practice, again, this is non-graded, so you can check the feedback. Just you're still learning. So the first question, I'm asking you to run the do file for specific variable, which is for a specific dataset, which is the college distance dataset. And then I'm asking you to choose the correct statement. And the statements are about the variance of the variable distance. Okay, so it's basically you're trying to see like a specific variable, and you're trying to see what is the variance of this variable. In order to get that, so you basically, when you start Stata, as you read in the tutorial of the first week, you know already that clear all is basically to clear any data set that you already have in Stata. Let's say you're already working on another practice and then you want to start this practice. So you want to tell Stata to clear all the data set that you already have, like that you already have stored in Stata. And then log close if you already have another do file that is open, so you want basically to close its log file, where the log file is simply a file that you create in order to store all the answers or all the commands and the answers in it. And then you use the next command is the one that calls the dataset. So let's say this is a CSV dataset, which is comma separated values, as I have informed you before. So this one would call this type of format, and then you will start estimating the variance. Set more of is basically in order to tell Stata don't stop between commands, just keep going. If you don't have this command, then Stata would tell you, like every time would tell you, to click on more, on the word more, but you just want to set this, the word more off. So let's take the first question. We're asking you about the variance, and then in order to get the variance, we have a command which is called summarize. You can either say summarize or you can say sum, and in both situations Stata would give you many statistics that you will see. If you want to close one of the commands, let's say if I keep the model with the log close, Stata will tell me that you don't have a file already open. As you can see, I don't have, let me take this down, I don't have any file that is open, right? So this is the main page of Stata. So I can always switch this off by just having a star at the beginning. Turning it green means that it will not be executed in Stata. So if I want just to get up to summarize, I can highlight this and then I can press on do. Then this would give me the statistics of the command summarize. It goes over all the variables that we have. Again, if you don't understand what is this variable, just check the description of the dataset. You have the observation, you have the mean, standard deviation, the minimum and maximum of each variable. And the question is asking you about this specific variable. And it's asking you about the variance, but however you have here is the standard deviation. As you know, you can just square this up and you will get the standard, you will get the variance. So when you go to your first question, right, I'm asking you what is the variance of the college distance, then the answer is A. So if you basically square the standard deviation, you will get 4.55325. Okay. The next question, I'm asking you to choose the correct statement, and it's about the minimum of the variable by test. So when you check here, the variable by test is going to be listed right here, and you have the information right here, minimum, right? And then you can see that the minimum of this variable is 28.95, and this is simply a score, it's a test, right? So it's easy to find the answer, and the answer for this one is number D. The next question asking you about the description of the data set. So the first two questions were asking about statistics, right? But the third question is asking about the description. So the description of the data set is, you have read in the Stata tutorial, you have three types of data sets. You have a string variable, you have a float variable, and you have a byte. So the question is asking you about how many floats, how many strings, how many byte variables we have. So in order to answer this question, you basically need to have a command D, or describe. So you can either have as the word describe, or you can just have it as D. And if I highlight the D and click on do, then I will get the description of the data set. where the description of the data set will tell you how many observations, how many variables, the size, the storage type, and this is the question about the storage type, and then the display format. So you basically, to answer this question, you need to count how many bytes: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you have 9 bytes, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have 5 float variables, and you have 0 string, right? So you basically go to your Sakai and you answer this question as B. You have 0 string, I have 5 float, and I have 9 variables. And you have 9 byte variables. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here and then continue in another video.